And with the midterms just weeks away now, we're looking at how the House Committee's investigation might impact these races. So joining us to discuss this,
ABC News Deputy Political Director Avery Harper, also former official for Hillary Clinton's 2016 presidential campaign, Amanda Renteria, and also Ramesh Ponnuru, editor at the National Review. And
welcome to all. Thank you for being here. It's crunch time. So, Amanda, I just want to get to that video that was released yesterday, which to me was one of the most heartbreaking scenes in American history. The leaders of the American Congress, on the day they're doing their constitutional duty, scurrying through basement tunnels into windowless little rooms, while the mob above howled and bayed for blood. It was just tragic. You could see it dawn on them how awful it was. There you see Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi working the phones, Trump supporters just taking over the building. What was your reaction when that was presented?
When you see it, you really get a sense of what's happening at that very moment. I actually saw it as leadership leading. It was really, you get a window into what happens in a moment of crisis, and we actually got a real window into that. And you can see them working together to say, how are we going to figure this out? How are we going to move forward? It is really interesting that some of their family was actually in the room, and there they were busy picking up the phone saying, all right, what are the procedures that we need? How do we get there? I think the part that makes my heart hurt is while they knew all of this was going on, no one on the other line, or there wasn't a president on the other line saying, how do we help you get out of this? What you did see is you saw them talk to Mike Pence, and a lot more than the president was at that very moment. And so it actually gives me a sense of both confidence in our system and a sense of urgency that this cannot happen again. And people need to know exactly how close this was.
So, Ramesh, you heard Trump and how he responded to the committee. He's calling the investigation a witch hunt, crime of the century. Overall, is that what America thinks too? And at the end of the day, no matter what Trump thinks and what the committee reveals, does anything stop the Trump train?
Well, I'd say opinion is polarized on this, as it is on so many issues. Most people share views that are closer, I think, to those of the committee than those of former President Trump. They think what happened on January 6th was outrageous, and they think that Trump has some serious responsibility for it. The question, though, is whether his most committed supporters will be dislodged. And that very much remains to be seen. I think that there's a possibility that a small group of them might decide either that they've had enough of Trump, that the drama that constantly swirls around him that he creates is getting old, or that there are better opportunities out there.
And Avery, set Trump loyalists aside, the broader Republican Party and the independents that are out there who lean Republican, vote Republican from time to time. This is a select committee with these findings, very dramatic. Do you think any of it makes any difference to them? It feels like the Republican Party has almost embraced January 6th.
Right. I don't think that this is going to make a direct difference in terms of midterms. And I'll tell you why. It's because, in the days and weeks after January 6th, there are many people out there who thought that candidates with ties to January 6th, to the violence of that day, that they had disqualified themselves, that they would not be able to raise money. And that is just not what we've seen. Even though we've seen Democratic candidates attempt to call some of these candidates out. Those are folks like Mark Finchem out in Arizona, Doug Mastriano, who's running for governor in Pennsylvania, Senator Ron Johnson, who is running for re-election in Wisconsin. It has not hurt their campaigns. In fact, it's likely been a boon to their campaigns. And so that, coupled with the fact that many of these candidates continue to espouse the big lie, we could see election deniers in very important offices after November.
Avery, Amanda, Ramesh, thank you all so much.
And for more on the midterms that Avery was just talking about and Trump's influence, Rachel Scott joins us now from the midterm monitor there.
Rachel, you cover the January 6th committee's investigation and also hearings on Capitol Hill, focusing on the former president's efforts to overturn the last election. So how is his influence being felt on the campaign trail right now?
Yeah, well, good to be with both of you guys. Listen, during the early days of the primary season, you remember just how much the weight of Trump's endorsement mattered in those key Republican primaries, but he's wasted no time getting out on the campaign trail as we get closer to Election Day. So first, I'm going to highlight the key battleground states that you see here on this map. Take a look here. Former President Donald Trump has been to almost all of these states. The stakes here are just so high for Republicans and Democrats. As you both know, the Senate is split 50-50. That means Republicans only need to net one race in order to take control of the Senate. Our friends at 538 have crunched the numbers, giving the current polling data out there, and things are looking pretty good for Democrats now. 64% chance of actually holding on to the Senate. And this is exactly why we are seeing Republicans make a play for out west to states like Nevada and Arizona, where two of the most vulnerable Democrats are right now. Mark Kelly in Arizona, Cortez Masto in Nevada, and just look how the chances and their odds for Republicans change if they're able to flip those two Senate seats. It goes up dramatically. Before, it was hovering just around 30%. Now you got 90% chance of taking control of the Senate. That's exactly why we're seeing so much focus out west, guys.
And Rachel, that's Trump's influence. How about Trump himself as an issue? Do you feel that anywhere? And do you think that Trump as an issue has come up in debates, in commercials? What do you see out there?
Oh, it certainly has. And let's just take a look at what happened in the Ohio Senate debate, where you had the Democrat Congressman Tim Ryan trying to tie the Republican venture capitalist J.D. Vance to the former president. But look here, the former president is pretty popular in Ohio. He won the state in 2016. He won it again in 2020. And I'm going to highlight for you right now, this is Tim Ryan's district. Look how popular the former president is right there back in 2020. I can tell you current polls show that President Biden's approval ratings in the state of Ohio are very low, very similar to what we are seeing on a national level. We also know tonight there is a highly anticipated debate in the Senate race right here in Georgia. We've been talking about this all week, a critical face-off between the Democrat Senator Raphael Warnock and the Republican Herschel Walker. You don't need me to tell you that Walker's campaign has been clouded in controversy. We know our very own Lindsey Davis sat down with him earlier this week about some of those allegations that he's facing, paying for a woman's abortion, which he denies. The key thing to note here is that he is still very much in the game. This poll was taken just days after that news broke, and just take a look. He's at 45%, exactly the same place he was just a month earlier. Raphael Warnock's lead has not grown very much here at all. This is going to be a critical race, and right now it is a toss-up, guys.
Great stuff there. It's
going to be a good debate.
It's really going to be lively, to say the least.
I'll be watching.
Rachel, I'll bet you will. We will too. Thanks very much, Rachel.
Thanks.
Running for governor in Pennsylvania, Senator Ron Johnson, who is running for re-election in Wisconsin. It has not hurt their campaigns. In fact, it's likely been a boon to their campaigns. And so that, coupled with the fact that many of these candidates continue to espouse the big lie, we could see election deniers in very important offices after November.
Avery, Amanda, Ramesh, thank you all so much.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.